I'll one-up Mushroom, or it's kind of hard. I don't remember the exact details, but if you, I'm gonna send this episode here for those watching on YouTube in a bit. I just want to go into this explanation. So, the only reason I'm not so torn up about this is because I know from lore reading that Karna should be good here, because I'm pretty positive that the golden armor is the noble phantasm that he gives to Jinako in one instance of CCC. It might even be in the base extra game, because in Fate Extra, it is the Mooncell Holy Grail War, where it's matchups tournament style, where one servant versus another. When Jinako loses, she's supposed to be deleted by the Mooncell, an almighty, omnipotent system that records all of Earth's history, to be honest here. The Mooncell is OP hacks, let's just say. So she's supposed to be deleted by him. Heck, even BB risked being deleted by the Mooncell if she didn't have a lot of power. So Karna gives her his armor, and his armor is enough to help her survive this deletion, I believe it was. So, armor that can survive an essential delete button being deployed on Karna, the person it's meant to be deployed on. In fact, the armor is so powerful that he can't use it at the same time as Vasavi Shakti. That's why he goes out of his armor. So I'm almost positive here that Karna will survive this situation. I don't know exactly how long it might take him to come back, because I don't know exactly, like, if he's just gonna straight up survive the blast, or if he'll just, like, do a resurrection in a couple days' time sort of thing. I don't know if those kind of details, but I am fairly certain Karna will survive. That'll be the end of that episode for YouTube, so I'll pause for a moment. Alright, and here we go with the next one. Section 6, the relic called Falsehood. Exactly. Respawning in... ... This is a short section, so that's okay. I'll take a short one. Need a little decompression time. Probably going to be interviewing Pepe. Did we make it? Good grief, talk about escaping by the skin of one's teeth. We may have paid a heavy price, but at least we managed to protect what we absolutely needed to. God, no. He's fine. Even wearing indestructible armor imbued with the sun god's power, there's only so much one can do when the very world crumbles away. Truth be told, I'm impressed he lasted as long as he did. That was a feat akin to holding back all the waters of the ocean or catching a falling star with one's bare hands. So it's something Mashu could have done. Heck, Mashu might have been able to hold it back longer. You know, if it was... Okay, Mashu pre-loss of Galahad's strength, you know. Pre-loss of Galahad's strength, Mashu could have probably held that back. Galahad could have probably held that back. Avalon... I'm wondering if Avalon would work there. Okay, now I'm just kind of wondering what sort of defensive noble phantasms could stand up to that. That's clearly an anti-world attack. So I'm imagining Avalon could probably do it, since it teleports the wheeler into the realm of the Fae. So on a different layer from reality altogether. Mashu at Solomon time probably could have tanked that. Okay, maybe not tanked. She could have blocked it for us, but she probably would have still dissolved. Which is going to be heart-wrenching to see animated. Galahad probably could just tank it, since he's stronger than Mashu in that respect. Achilles has a noble phantasm as well. I don't remember the name of it. He has a defensive one. I think it also is a protective world noble phantasm, or something like that. I kind of wonder if a reality marble would be able to survive tanking that, or if it would just be overwritten. So put Iskandar and Amiya into the maybe category. I'm trying to think. No, not his 1v1 me. It's the noble phantasm that Chiron told him to give to Astolfo, to give to Sieg, to use in the fight against Karna that stopped Vasavi Shakti in Fate Apocrypha. He's got some sort of defensive Noble Phantasm. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else could potentially tank that? I don't think it's Walls of Troy. I want to say it's a gifted Noble Phantasm. I'm going to actually look him up now. Achilles type moon. Rider of Red Achilles. Noble Phantasms. The Achilles Cosmos. Ultimate trump card in the shield Divine Construct, said to be constructed by the god of smithing Hephaestus. The shield protects the wielder by deploying a miniature world and can block nearly any attack, whether it be from anti-unit, army, fortress, country, or even anti-divine Noble Phantasms. Okay. So, Achilles Cosmos is the name of it. It deploys a miniature world. Given that Arjuna only seems to gather the power to destroy a world, I think he could probably tank it. But I can't really think of any other defensive Noble Phantasms that could probably work. I mean, straight out surviving it, I can imagine that Tiamat will survive it, since she lives so long as something is alive and Arjuna is alive, so Tiamat conceptually will survive. Yeah. Kama has potential to survive on a conceptual level, since she was incinerated and she became a universe, so Kama is conceptually a universe. So speaking from a conceptual standpoint, Kama should be able to tank that attack. Can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head. There are a few heroes in all of history who could have withstood a cataclysm like that, even for just a few seconds. Truly, there are still only a few. For us, those few seconds were truly the difference between life and death. Karna, hero of benefaction, I salute your strength and devotion. You have my eternal thanks. Worse than this, I'm now Karna. We've barely just gotten started here, and we've already lost 2 of our servants. And as cold-hearted as this may sound, we can't move on if we keep our focuses on the past. Let us go over what we gained as well. Yes, I know you're right. Go ahead, Holmes. That wave of light we observed just before we dived in contained a truly unbelievable amount of magical energy. More than enough to convince me it was capable of destroying this entire Lostbelt. If I hadn't already seen it with my own eyes. No one hero should ever be able to wield that power of that scale. But given that he clearly can, there must be a reason for that. We've even heard a few hints towards his nature already. Final god. Every Indian divinity rolled into one. Oh, also, let's just say here that, actually, Nobu, couldn't probably do it, since she's the queen of anti-divine. Enkidu could probably take him down, since, he's, king of anti-divine. Hello, Senna! Welcome to the stream. It has been a while since I've last seen you here. How be things? And Gil can probably take him on as well. Hello, Marked Fang as well. Greetings. Welcome to the stream. How be things? But thank you very much for the raid, Senna. It is greatly appreciated here. So now I think we'd best hear about him from someone I believe is uniquely more qualified to answer. Let me come right to the point. What is he? Okay, now seems like a good time as any for a bit of a chat. Plus, now that you've shown me what this reverse side of the world looks like, I think it's only fair I reciprocate to know. Pepe. The rift between worlds, the inside of nothingness, the gap between heaven and earth, the space outside of the universe. Here, where a single moment spans an eternity, only he and a few beings he acknowledged are able to exist. I think I'm kind of I'm using my Mephistopheles voice for Pepe, I've realized. Even though I still don't know if there's any real change in my voice, I really need to seek about getting vocal lessons. See how well that would work for me. I just know I've got a very deeper voice, so it's kind of hard, but... Storage records. Organization complete. Commencing reconstruction. I did not mean to scroll down and show off Arjuna there. You mother... Him. He's here. Limbo. How dare he show his face to me. I don't remember why I'm angry at him, though. I know I don't like him. I know I'm angry at him, but I don't remember why I don't like him and why I'm angry at him. So I'll just settle for being angry at him. Delightful. What a delightful way of molding the world as you see fit. I don't think I'll ever get tired of watching it. It's so unilateral, so transcendent, and above all, so violently correct. Ah, what a blessing it is to witness it so closely. If you say so, personally, I think it's just plain boring. He even had the perfect chance to get rid of the Chaldaic clouds and he let them get away. What was he thinking? Unnecessary defects deleted. Continuing logic absorption. Like conceptual repairs. My, you really should be more merciful, huh? You're lucky he seems to not hurt you this time. If he decides we're defective and unnecessary too, we won't be able to skip this recreation process either. He's a god after all. He gets to make these sorts of judgments. Right now, the Chaldeans are a little more than pests to be cleaned up along with the rest of the trash. If he did decide that Soul and his little gang were truly unnecessary, he would send one of the little Kapala to handle them. It's not our place to say anything, let alone do so pertinently. No, all we need to do is stand back and merely spectate as he recreates this world into his own perfect little sandcastle. It may be wrong to draw plans and create molds when it comes to making sandcastles, but as they say, if this is wrong, then I don't want it to be right. Why doesn't anyone else try their hand at it? The more we repeat the process, the closer we'll get to making perfect plans and mold. At the rate we're going now, I expect it won't be long at all before we get there. Yes, I suppose the sand we're using may get worn and fat tattered the more we destroy and rebuild. But that's the small price to pay for being such a grand project to its completion, don't you think? So of course we'll keep going. Yeah, he's calling on that old landline. Oh, God's disciples consist of 3 alter egos. But this monk is one to be especially wary of. Part of it is that he's very much rotten to the core. But it also can be more obvious that in the end he's going to be cast off with the few inhibitions he has, break everything in his path and move on to do it all over again somewhere else. It's her. What's with that look? Are you saying I only dislike him because he reminds me of myself? I'm a patient woman, but even I can only take being lumped in with something like that for so long. Again, Tama's got a big old rock on her finger. And again, while I do dislike Koyan from a personality standpoint, again, I gotta admit, she be hot dough. And I definitely prefer her Chinese Lostbelt attire. Why don't you open your mouth and actually say something for once? Or is your job really just to observe and nothing else? And again, the mysterious woman. Well, I guess you didn't need to say anything there. Your actions could have already said, I already see where this is going louder than your than if you brought a megaphone. Alright, I'll just make do with modest gains in this lost spot and focus on finding what that monk is up to. After all, I certainly don't want him getting in the way of my own future plans. Final value allotments confirmed. Entering. Executing. He seems almost computer-like, Arjuna does. Thus the world is reborn. Its cycle begins anew. Wait, I recognize that symbol. That's the symbol of the Umbrella Corporation. Oh gosh, they're all the way here too. Umbrella. Yuga Cycle. Inception. Man, that must be a very lewd Yuga Cycle. Normally it's just triple X, but, you know, quintuple X? Good gracious.
So I'm sure you've at least figured out this much, but that Arjuna is the core of this Indian Lostbelt. He's the reason this world became part of the pruning theoretical phenomenon. Let's see, to tie it to Holmesy's earlier question. Holmesy. This world was pruned away because in it, he gained the power you've just witnessed.
And that entails...
Just so you know, this is almost all speculation on my part, okay? There's no one around who can prove what really happened. Anyway, I don't know what exactly he got all that power when this world became estranged from proper human history. All I know is that it was a long time ago, but I can make an educated guess. It was probably during the Mahabharata. Something happened right around when the war it picks came to an end. Something that led to Arjuna acquiring every divinity in India.
Right, you mentioned that earlier. Then it's really true.
Well, it certainly make a kind of paradoxical sense given what we've seen thus far, and a feat as extraordinary as we're making the entire world simply wouldn't be possible without an equally extraordinary background. But that still doesn't explain how it happened. This is also just speculation, but I think he probably acquired the divinities in phases. And the most plausible explanation I can think of, he probably started by acquiring Vishnu's power. Since his closest friend Krishna was one of Vishnu's avatars. What's more, Krishna was said to have one of the strongest connections to Vishnu of all the avatars. Not that I'm saying you're weak, of course, Rami.
I'm perfectly capable of understanding the point you are making. Never mind his PlayStations, just keep going.
You got it, hon. So if Arjuna somehow got Vishnu's divinity from Krishna, peacefully or otherwise, it stands to reason that it could have laid the groundwork to do the same with the other divinities. Vishnu is one of the most powerful gods in all of Indian mythology, after all. I expect he went around hungrily unifying all the other Indian gods in this Lostbelt one by one after that. Indra, even Shiva and Brahma were no exception. So once he'd absorbed all the divinities, he became what he is now.
Except he doesn't have all the divinities. He is missing 2 key divinities from the Indian pantheon. 2 that are sort of merged into one. Because I remember all the saying that Oku ties into this Lostbelt. That, Mara should not have been allowed to manifest because of all the people that should have been watching her. Kama Mara is from this Lostbelt. So Arjuna isn't at full power as he's lacking the power of Kama and Mara. So she fled because she didn't want to get absorbed, I'm guessing. That might be part of the reason why she fled. Interesting. Very, very interesting. So we probably shouldn't be bringing Kama along to this Lostbelt, because we don't want to give Arjuna a reason to laser focus on us.
And Arjuna with divine power over death and creation, rule of this Lostbelt incapable of destroying and rebuilding everything alike. No, you can't even call him Arjuna anymore. He may have started as Arjuna, but he's something else altogether now. That's why he no longer has a shred of the heroic Arjuna's personality. You saw that for yourselves, didn't you?
Nothing there. As he seemed disconnected. Mechanical, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it seemed very clear that you won't be able to reason with him.
Technically, this would not be the first such entity we've met. If you think back to Scandinavia, Satana was an amalgamation of 3 divine spirits. But Arjuna would seem to be on another scale altogether, so much that it's hard to believe that they're in the same category. At this point, it's all too plausible to accept that he's neither human or servant, but an entirely new divine conceptual being. Truth be told, I'm surprised he's even able to maintain his form.
Alright, so we know what his deal is. Now what about you? What's your game here, Cryptor?
Me? Why isn't it obvious?
The only thing that's obvious about you is that your face practically screams, "Don't trust me."
Well, I never. All of you know I was just trying to keep my embarrassment from showing. But alright, if you need me to explain, I can do that.
Uh-oh. I think I disconnected my phone from my laptop, which is currently actively charging.
After becoming a cryptor, I summoned Ashwataman to be my servant. After I was assigned to this Indian Lostbelt, the first thing I did was make contact with its king, Arjuna. Once I learned he was basically a god, I spent my first 3 months here trying to control him as much as I could. But after that foreign god's disciple showed up, Arjuna suddenly started behaving strangely. I guess the disciple may have managed to sway him over to his side.
Which disciple?
He's a young man who always wears some sort of Japanese outfit. He calls himself a monk, but he's clearly a failed Omniochi. He's very handsome, but he's also thoroughly twisted and just as rotten to the core. Definitely not my type. If I'd approached him, the odds were better than ever that even one of us would have dropped dead. And we couldn't have that, right? Seeing as we're both technically on the foreign god's side and all. So I always made sure to keep my distance from him. I never even got the chance to find out his true name.
At least we know he isn't Koyan, and he sounds like he isn't Father Kotomene, or Sweetman either.
Oh, I am fond of Koyan. She may be evil, but she's the pure sort of evil. You know how she can cross between the lost ones as she pleases, right? So I see her every now and then. But I haven't gotten a read on her. It's like she doesn't even respect the foreign gods despite being an alter ego. But anyway, Koyan doesn't have anything to do with Ajna. Basically, thanks to that other alter ego, the male disciple, Ajna started taking a much heavier hand to this world than he ever had before. After that, it sounds like they needed more pawns for running errands and such. So I went and took my contract with Ashwataman, all just because he happened to be close by. And just like that, Ashwataman was his, and there was nothing I could do. A lot of good being encrypted did to me, right? At that point, all I could do was laugh at how absurd it was.
What? He just took your contract from you?
Thinking back on it now, I really shouldn't be surprised considering just how powerful God he is. I just didn't really get how powerful he was until he was using that power on me. Then to top it all off, he went and summoned a few more servants all on his own. I don't know if he figured out how by studying Ashwataman, or if the disciple told him, but I guess it doesn't matter. The point is, once he had more servants on his side, I knew I had zero chance of taking Ashwataman back.
I get the impression Ashwataman used to be your servant based on our earlier conversation. What I really want to know is what happened to you after all that.
After that, I ran away as fast as my legs could carry me, of course. I didn't want to die for nothing after all. That's really all it comes down to with me. But don't you cryptos have a duty to grow your Lostbelts? Isn't that how you're supposed to determine which one is truly worthy of rule? Well, sure, but with this India, or rather with Ajna here, that's not gonna happen. Honestly, I knew it was pointless almost as soon as I got here. Easy to see this world is a dead end, and nothing I can do about that. So I gave up on my responsibilities to grow this world's tree of emptiness. I mean, who cares who the king of this world is if you're not alive to see it? Kushara has probably already figured out that my Lostbelt's a lost cause. In David's case, I'm not sure. I wish he would show it at least this little interest, but oh well. Oh, that reminds me, I heard you had run-ins with Katak, Ophelia, and Akuta. Well, if you're not going to make this personal, I won't either. Besides, I can't go around avenging my comrades or talking about Cryptus' pride of things as they are right now, can I?
Don't mention Ophelia to Mashu. She lost a very close friend there. So you're refusing to comment on the Cryptors, is that it? So as long as we don't bring up the Cryptors ourselves, you want to pose us on as one? Is that what you're saying?
Take it however you like, but knowing that, Soul spared Katak and buried Ophelia. Well, that's just more than enough reason for me to want to avoid fighting him if I can.
Yeah. I'm pretty tough. Although, where did we bury Ophelia? I do wonder that. Where's she buried? I know she died on the border, but I don't recall ever burying her. Did we bury her in Scandinavia? In which case, does her body not exist anymore? Because I would have totally loved to do a Kakashi and implant her eye into my socket, you know. That I think I would look pretty cool with it.
I noticed you didn't mention Akuta Hinako there. What about her? Oh, Akuta's a special case. I mean, she wasn't even human, right? She was never on anyone's side but her own to begin with, so I don't see any reason to avenge her.
You knew Akuta Hinako was a true ancestor?
Akuta did a good job of keeping her cards close to her chest, but I've always had a good nose for that sort of thing. I knew the instant I of Deck Chaldea that she wasn't actually human.
So what do you mean by this world's a dead end? I need to snack on something. This isn't my preferred snack, but it's something chocolate. Chocolate caramel snowman. See, I'm fine with caramel, but it's a lot of caramel.
Oh yes, that's the last thing I need to tell you about. Arjun uses the power to destroy and recreate the world over and over, cycling it through the periods he calls Yugas. I'll spare you the details for now, but while they're similar in some ways to India's original conception of Yugas, they ultimately diverge pretty wildly. We have a couple of problems. First, he's gradually going through the Yugas faster and faster. Then there's one thing he does that as he completes each cycle. Something he does when he remakes the heavens and earth between the cycles, We have already been informed about something along those lines, namely the judgment Asha told us about. I can infer what judgment entails, and these who are telling us it involves everyone dying and coming back to life. But of course, now's not the time for speculation. Oh, why not? I'd love to see you get those speculating in person, Holmes. Hard as it may be coming from me, I have no intention of interrupting someone else's explanation of a thorny riddle with my own half-baked theories. Well, you probably already know that much. It would be faster if you see it for yourselves anyways.
Hi, it's me, Da Vinci, the beautiful genius who's been forced to keep her mouth shut and listen despite being just itching to jump in from all of this fascinating discussion. Our reality space observation results have finally stabilized. We can emerge from the zero cell now. The longer we stay submerged, the more chance we have of something going wrong. So I'll hate to cut Pepperoncino's explanation off. I really think we should head back to the reality space now, especially for our own. What do you say, Gordy?
Alright then, go ahead. But I want our security to remain airtight. Make damn sure we resurface inside the Lostbelt, got it?
Got it. Will be safe for us to go back outside after we emerge.
Oh, sure, there was rules about the Yugakshetra are 100% absolute, so I can promise you Arjun won't try anything now that we've just started a new one. Though when it comes to the other dangers, I can't make any guarantees. I mean, I just don't know, you know.
We can't let the mere possibility of danger hold us back. We may not be able to do anything about the cataclysm yet. What's the calories on these things? How many servings? 3 pieces per serving. That's not bad. But we'll just have to assume we'll be able to handle any other threats we run into. Nessa and Carter may be gone now, but you still have myself, Mash, and Ganesha, the Divine Spirit. Yeah, I guess so. You alright there? Sorry for being so down in the dumps. I'm okay now. I promise. I know I still have my Ganesha duties to fulfill. Besides, did you hear what Karna said? He asked me to take care of you for him. Can you believe that? A superhero like Karna asking a loser like me for help? How does that work? Still, I don't think he'd have said that if he didn't need my help. So that must mean he thought I was up to it. That he trusts me as a fellow servant. So I figure I may be a loser, but I can still do my losery best. If Karna's gonna put his trust in me, I may as well see something he didn't. I just don't expect me to be much help.
Glad to have you with us. I'll come along and help too, of course. Besides, it's easier to explain things when you're seeing them in person. Is that alright with you, Soul and Mash?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Pepe.
Hold it. What do you think you're doing, Pepperoncino? Have you forgotten you are a prisoner? Huh? Well, the border won't be leaving this Lostbelt until Soul finishes what he came here to do, right? So how could I possibly get away on my own? Besides, helping all of you is the surest way to help me survive too. Not to mention that Mashy just looks so adorable after all this time. That I can't help but want to support her anyway, you know.
I see. Thank you.
Of course, if you insist on keeping me in here, well, I really can't blame you for that, but it sure is a good... But are you sure it's a good idea? Good idea. Don't be preposterous. Of course I'm sure it's... No, wait. Hang on. What if... Oh my, he's gone so pale. Scared of keeping an unknown element like me here in the heart of their operations. God, he's so easy to read. Cut off Holmes and the captain restrained, but if he's planted a bomb inside his body, there's something frightening about him that reminds me of a mercenary. We have said he only wants to survive, but he's obviously not in the least bit frightened by dying. I could easily see him blowing himself up and taking us all out with him. So then the safest option would be... Alright, I suppose it would be the humane thing to do. Very well, just this once, I'll grant you special permission to accompany Soul. But be warned, this permission is contingent on you being obeying every order we give you, without question. Refuse and I won't hesitate to do whatever measures I deem necessary. Is that clear? Okay, that's fair. If I die, I die. It works for me.
Okay then, let's get going. Shadow Porter preparing to emerge. Everyone hold on tight. As soon as we're safely back to reality space, let's go see what this newly remade world is like. Yeah! That's not creepy at all.